Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Right off the bat on the old show today, the NSX that's coming out from Honda/Acura. Apparently they've got quite the benchmark, as this is going to be quite the affordable hybrid supercar, way more affordable than the McLaren P1 and the Porsche 918 Spyder, not to mention the Ferrari LaFerrari. This vehicle's got quite the benchmark, as they're going after square in the crosshairs. They're going after this car, the 458 Italia, which is not a bad benchmark to go after at all, especially if they can make that new NSX be quite a bit cheaper than the 458 Italia. So we'll wait and see what comes of this in the future. Next up on the list, this is a picture of a fellow by the name of Brock Yates. Well, the first time I ever knew who Brock Yates was, he was the editor-at-large of Car and Driver magazine. But many years ago, he made a fabled trip in the footsteps of a person that he knew about, Cannonball Baker, who actually made a motorcycle trek clean across country of the United States way back in the day. Well, Mr. Yates here and his son and some friends actually made the trek in a Dodge van, and to actually relive the whole trip, hard as they could go, clean across the country, which turned into somewhat of an outlaw race, which was later done as a book. This particular book right here, I actually love this particular book, where he chronicles the many cannonballs that happened afterwards. In fact, there was 4 of them. If you've ever seen the movie Cannonball Run, Brock Yates has a small cameo in that particular film. And actually, come to think of it, that whole ambulance deal that they ran in that first film, that was the same ambulance that they ran in the last Cannonball that they ever ran. Now, Mr. Yates actually quit the Cannonball after seeing a competitor's automobile that he was preparing for the next one, a very heavily modified Lamborghini Countach, and Mr. Yates thought that, you know what, somebody's going to get hurt or killed in this particular program, that they're going to stop having this, an outlaw race just for a lot of insiders. Now, he was the first winner of this particular event. Him and race driver Dan Gurney being the only one in the modern era Formula One driver to win a car in an automobile that he designed himself. Mr. Yates and Mr. Gurney actually made the trek in a Ferrari Daytona. Pretty breathtaking speeds. Now, since then, it's actually been eclipsed, the actual record across the country, in a bull run rally. This particular fellow, which is Richard Rawlings, you may know him from a very popular television series called Fast and Loud, chronicles his little garage, Gas Monkey Garage, and the goings on there. Him and his friend Dennis Collins actually took Mr. Collins's 550 Maranello Ferrari cross country, and they did it in a lap of 31 hours and 59 minutes. Now, that was later eclipsed by this particular fellow, which is Alex Roy, who lives somewhere around the New York area. Mr. Roy is well known for a lot of these rallies, as far as the Gumball Rally and the Bull Run Rally and the Mod Ball Rally and all the other rallies that we've seen trucks across the country over the past several years when they used to do the full-on trips. Now, Mr. Roy actually did the trip with a fellow by the name of David Mayer, and they actually did it in this particular BMW M5. This particular vehicle actually did it in 31 hours and 4 minutes, which is a pretty good trip. Now, this stood up until just this year. In fact, just several weeks ago, when this particular trio actually did it in 2004 CLK 55 AMG. Now, the vehicle was specially modified with a lot of fuel, and this trio, being Ed Borland, who's actually the fellow in the center, David Black, and Dan Hung, actually made this trip in an astonishing speed. Now, they left the Red Ball Garage, which is the actual birthplace of this, where it actually took place the first time, at 9:55 p.m. on October 19th of 2013. And they arrived at the Portofino Inn in Redondo Beach, California at 11:46 p.m. on October 20th. Yes, that is a lap of 28 hours and 50 minutes. Absolutely demolishing the old record. Now, they claimed with the added fuel and everything that they only made 46 minutes worth of stops and only made a total of 3 stops in total to refuel the car and obviously for bathroom breaks and whatnot. They claim that they averaged 98 miles an hour. Now, the car was heavily modified with a lot of radar equipment and radar jammers and stuff like this. They claim they never ever got stopped by the police. Now, they did have a little deal where many friends were actually running the route ahead of them, upwards of 200 miles ahead of them, checking out for speed traps and road constructions and accidents and whatnot, trying to keep the road kind of clear. If you think that sounds a little bit kind of cheating, the Alex Roy group actually had a helicopter fly ahead of their group, so they knew exactly what was coming soon as well. Said the trip was pretty effortless, other than there was a little incident with a police officer that they passed doing well north of the speed limit, but the cop never budged off the side of the road. So, pretty impressive little feat, and one of that here of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Have to give a big tip of the hat, but also say, don't try this at home, kids. This is a very dangerous situation to kind of take this kind of trip. Now, what's a normal trip across the country? It's probably closer to 45 hours. So 28 hours is a lot faster. Next up on the list, remember we talked about Sebastian Vettel doing the donuts at the Indian Grand Prix? Well, apparently he did get fined for those donuts. Not taking the car back to Parc Fermé, but it was just barely a slap on the wrist. €25,000 fine. Apparently it was such a small fine that this picture was taken actually this morning at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, where he did it again. And where Red Bull team boss Christian Horner actually told him that he was paying the fine this time. But don't think that Mr. Vettel is going to be broke anytime soon. There's rumors floating about that Red Bull paid him for his 4th World Championship in a row a tidy little bonus of $5 million. Kimi Raikkonen's still in the news. A little rift that he had with Lotus Renault. It's actually maybe come to a head a little bit more as of the rift between the team, where he did a press conference to say there was no rift between the team, but then let out this little bomb. Lotus Renault has yet to pay him for the year. He hasn't been paid at all this year. According to Kimi Raikkonen, sounds like that Lotus Renault owes him $15 million, and he's planning on boycotting the last 2 rounds, the round in the United States and the round in Brazil, which could put him in a breach of contract issue, so he may end up showing to those deals after all, but just trying to flex some muscle to get Renault, or I should say Lotus, to actually pay him what he has earned. And last up on the list, Fernando Alonso, Formula One racer, actually in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix from this morning, actually this morning being the taping of this program. Mr. Alonso came out of the pits, went side by side with another competitor, hit the curbing and got airborne a little bit. Well, the FIA is actually looking into it to see whether he's going to get penalized in the next round at the Circuit of Americas in Austin, Texas. Well, apparently he's already been penalized a little bit. Late breaking news just before the late taping of this program. Mr. Alonso headed to hospital after having an issue, and he's being checked out as we speak, supposedly. So we'll keep you in tune to what comes of this if he ends up getting injured after that little incident with the curbing. So we'll keep you in tune. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this week's Motor Cars Enthusiasts. If you want to jump on over to the Facebook page, in fact, I just put up a brand new video. You've played the mobile phone game Angry Birds? Well, guess what? Angry Birds is going to have a brand new game. It's going to be a racing game, and I got the new promo video of it up on the Facebook page right now. Also, if you want to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time. Get the first dibs on the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.